What is good, y'all? I'm here making a video, so yeah, I think this is gonna be the first video on the channel. I've been making some videos, but they're mostly personal, private videos, right? But I've been kind of inspired, man, to start posting my journey, my fitness journey, that is, online and just really talking about it because I realize like a lot of videos have actually helped me. I've been watching a bunch of like YouTubers who talk about getting lean, staying lean, how to get to 10% body fat, how to follow your workout routine, your meal plan, how to stay consistent. And those videos have really helped me, man. Especially on the really hard days when I was really getting started. And so, yeah, man, I kind of was inspired by all these people doing this, and I want to contribute as well, right? So, I think what this channel will mostly be is, me talking about my journey, things you see online, and just how to stay consistent. And really, I hope people can use this as a resource or just use this as a way to stay locked in, right? Because again, like those videos that other people are posting have really helped me. I'll have them in the background as I meal prep or as I do my walks, or as I work out sometimes, and it just keeps you in the same headspace, right? Which is something that's hard to do in this world, right? You have so many distractions, and it's so frustrating, right? To have to deal with them on a day-to-day basis. And so listening to these videos always helps, right? But to kick off, I think this first video, I really just want to talk about my journey, how I got started. I really started down this fitness journey back in like October or maybe like September of 2025, I would say. Um, when I just really started to see myself in a way I didn't like. I'll share, I'm in my 30s, right? Spent all my 20s just partying it up, man. I love to go out, stay out till the sun comes up, doing all the things, right? Drinking, smoking, having fun, and just, yeah, staying out all night, man. And that was really my identity. I feel like I built my identity around partying. I also DJ, so DJ lifestyle, you're always partying or you're getting invited to other people's events, and you want to go backstage and you hang out with other DJs, and you end up at someone's house, and you know how it goes, right? For people who have lived that lifestyle. So I was living that, right? And really, I just came to a point, man. Like I said, I'm in my 30s, and you start realizing, oh shit, I'm like the old one here. Right? You're like, oh shit, like I'm in my 30s, I'm partying with fucking 21, 22, 23 year olds. And I'm out here, I'm the old guy now, and especially when you don't look good, or looks are subjective, right? But when you don't feel good, you know you're not the best version of yourself. Maybe you're over like 30% body fat, you're bigger, and you're drinking and kind of being a little bit of a slob. It's not a good look, man. And I don't know if there's like a particular moment that comes to my mind. But the looks you get from some people, the looks you get from women, right, who are just, you just don't exist in their world because you're just not up to standards. And the way you just get ignored by society is brutal, man. And as a man, I think it hits you pretty hard, right? As you get older, right? You start realizing, yo, no one gives a fuck if I like exist, right? And so you choose to do something with that or you don't, right? But I was like, I started noticing myself in that identity, and I was like, I don't like this. I've always had a positive, very very good image of myself. I've always thought of myself as like, I'm gonna be something. And so when that starts mismatching, what you're experiencing in real life, um, you come to that crossroads. You're like, whoa, this is not good, and it starts leading you down a bad path, right? And like I said, I was a big partier, so I was just like, fuck this. I'm gonna go get fucked up. I'm gonna go drink, binge drink like crazy and just forget these feelings. And you realize you are doing that every weekend. 3 days out of the week, maybe four, five, even some days, right? In your 30s, your body is changing, man, and it cannot handle that type of stuff too. So that was another thing. The hangovers are pretty brutal. I would get sick a lot after a night out of drinking. And yeah, man, your body just does not keep up. And those you need a couple recovery days, right? So all these things happening to me, right? And I think specifically also, I just took a trip to another state. I'm in the United States, and just like same thing, partied it up, ate a bunch of good food, great trip, But when I came back and weighed myself, I was at, I believe, 210. And I'd never been 210 in my life. 210 pounds, that is, right? Um, so I was like, holy shit, dude, I'm 210 pounds. I've never been that big, or that heavy. And, I was definitely the biggest I've ever been. And, you start avoiding yourself in the mirror. You start to have like just so many insecurities. Um, and, it's just not fun. It's not a fun place to be in, right? So that's sort of where this started for me. All these things kind of coming into my head, and it started really there in September of fucking 2025. And yeah, I started actually with 75 hard. So y'all have heard of that, I'm sure. A lot of people do it. It's very it's such a big fad. um and my thing was really, I'm gonna hit the gym, and I'm gonna stop drinking. That was my like 75 hard. I'm also just gonna take a little sip of my zero sugar Coke real quick. I just came back from my walk, so a little thirsty. I wanted something a little sweet to keep me going right now. But anyways, yeah, I started with 75 hard, man. And so no drinking and trying to be consistent in the gym. Signed up for a gym, started going. Honestly, I followed a routine I found online on like Men's Health or whatever this website is. I don't remember. But just following a routine, right? A 4-day workout split, and trying to be consistent with that. My form was ass. I didn't know what I was doing, honestly. But hey, starting is the hardest part, and as long as you get in there and start to get a little comfortable, that is a great way to start, right? So yeah, started with that and then stopped the drinking, right? And that was a big one, because when I stopped the drinking, that's when all the real issues started to come up, right? Like now I can actually feel the negative emotions I was feeling, the insecurity about myself, not living up to my own standards, right? The way I saw myself, right? Um, I'm a very creative person. I love to do music. Like I said, I DJ, and not being consistent with my music, and not living up to my own standard was fucking with me, man. It was really messing with me. So um, you know, not drinking finally had all that all those thoughts and everything I was blocking out finally start to kind of permeate into my mind. And I realized, oh my God, this is so much bigger than drinking. The drinking is a part of it, but I got to get my shit together, right? And and I realize, I'm in my 30s. I'm doing relatively okay in my professional life, and I make a good living. But yeah, I have this mismatch, and I dive deep into alcoholism and drugs to kind of fill this void that I'm not living up to my standards. So, that's when the change started happening a lot. And I think what 75 Hard, as I went into it, um, I think it really made me comfortable with sitting at home and just sitting with my thoughts, which was a big step, right? And being okay with not having to be at the party every single time, right? Because there's always something going on. Your friends are always doing something, and you can always be out. You can be out every day of the week if you want to, especially if you live in a big city like me. And yeah, that FOMO, that fear of missing out, is real, and you want to be at everything. And when you've established your identity as like a partier, you have to be at everything, right? That is like, oh, I always see this guy at this thing, so that becomes your identity. And so not drinking really started this for me, and being okay with, I don't have to be at everything. It's okay to take a day or a weekend in, and you don't have to be out. So, that's when it started. And honestly, I didn't even make the full 75 days, right? Like, my friend was having a party. We were very close to the end of the 75 days. I think we were like 10 days off. And I say we because I did it with a few of my friends. And two of us lasted until then. We were at our friend's thing. It was an open bar. We said, fuck it, let's have a drink. We did our 60 days or whatever it was, 60, 64, 65. And we broke it. We couldn't even do it, man. Couldn't even do the 75 days. So, um, once I reached that period in December, I was expecting to lose a lot more weight. And I'm like, yo, I didn't lose a lot of weight. I maybe lost some face fat, which was good. But I was expecting to lose a lot more, and that's when I really started looking into fitness stuff. And why am I not losing this weight, and how do I build more muscle? And the if you need someone to kind of wake you up. And it was a few videos for me on YouTube that were just like keeping it real, like, yo, it's diet, man. It's your diet, it's your cardio, and it's your weightlifting, right? Here's how you want to weight lift. You want to progressively overload. Here's how you want to do your cardio. You want to do them after your workouts. And then the main thing, here's how you want to eat, like, and I watched a specific video of someone just breaking down macros, and how to eat in a deficit, and how you want to hit your macros, and um, you know checking your height, your weight, and then adjusting there and making your meal plan that way, right? So um, that's how it started. That's how it really started. And so this was, like I mentioned, this was probably going into January of 2026. And I was following this meal plan, but it was hard, man. It was really, really hard. I'll share, because I just was. I didn't lock it in as well as I thought I did. I also did the math wrong. So I think I was trying to hit like 200 grams of protein or something, which is way over what I needed, right? And I suck at math. So yeah, I miscalculated my fucking meal plan. So I was eating. I wasn't eating too much, but I was definitely trying to have just like more protein than anything else. When having a balanced carbs, fats, and protein is really how you want to structure your meal plans, right? Um, so yeah, I started that way. I got my weight scale, and I was doing everything, but I was doing it the wrong way because I miscalculated it. And eventually, I did it for 3 or so weeks and just stopped, right? Because it was too hard, and work was getting crazy. So I also missed a few gym sessions and just started to become inconsistent, right? And I watched a video that was like, dude, if you're just going to be inconsistent with it, just don't do it, right? But there's no point in going to the gym. There's no point in, eating your meals for like 4 days a week, and then you just splurge on the weekend, or you have one cheat meal within the week. It just doesn't matter, dude. If you're not going to be consistent, don't do it, right? And then I stopped. And I was like, fuck, I was back where I was starting. Again, I still didn't feel very good about myself, still having these insecurities. Um, And so I was like, fuck, what do I do, man? And so I actually did invest in a coach. And so I do promote that, man. And I think invest in a fucking coach if you can, right? It's expensive. Not everyone can do it, but I think that kind of just showed me like I needed someone to show me how to do it right. And you get to a point where, like I said, I just need to figure this part of my life out, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Pay the money, spend the time, whatever, man. It's time, and I've always wanted to do this, right? I've been working out probably for the past 6 or even 7 years, I think, and not getting the results I wanted. Such a waste of time, honestly. But I was like, you know what? I'll do whatever. I don't care anymore. I'll pay the money. I'll do whatever. So I got a coach. The coach broke it down for me, made my meal plan correctly, so I knew what to eat. Um, Made the workout plan for me, and gave me weekly check-ins, and I did that for about 3 months. So that gave me the structure I needed. And boom, I just started going, man. I really dove in, executing the meal plan every week, hitting the workouts every week. And, you know, I think that first week I stepped on the scale and I had lost 2 pounds. And I was like, oh shit, this works. This actually fucking works. So, stuck with it. Not gonna lie, there were a couple hiccups in the road, right? I did have like I went to Korean barbecue one time that fucked me up, like totally binged and just like sent my weight up. But those are learning lessons for you, right? And you start to realize I can't bullshit this, right? This is all or nothing. So yeah, man, stuck with it, and I'll share, after 3 or so months, I think it was probably around May. So I started in February of 2026, and around May, as uh, as the program ended, is when I started getting the compliments. Whoa, look, you lost a lot of weight. You look great. You're starting to look amazing and all this, right? And that's when it becomes a lot easier, right? Because now you're like, okay, I finally have the feedback, and yeah, hell yeah, let's keep this going. And every week starts becoming a win. You start seeing more definition. You start seeing more veins, more vascularity, and that is when the easy part comes in, man. But those first 2 3 months are brutal, man, and you just need to keep your head down, focus, do what you got to do, and try to not have distractions, right? I had a DJ gig where I had to DJ at this big festival out in the desert over here, and I had to not drink or like go too crazy with my meals or anything, and the temptations were everywhere. Everyone was like, "Yo, come take a shot. Don't be boring." I said, "No, man, I can't right now. I'll be able to eventually, but for now, I'm sticking to my things, my coffee, my caffeine, my meals, right? I stuck to very specific meals. Everyone was bagging on me because of my Greek yogurt. I was eating like this big bowl of Greek yogurt at the end of the night, and everyone's like, "Oh man, look at him. He's changed. He's having Greek yogurt. He would definitely be having like a hot dog right now." So yeah, you have those moments, man. And after I did that one, that's when I knew I can do this, because if I could say no at the festival that I'm playing at with all my friends, and it's such a great time, and I still had a great time, right? I didn't drink as much. I'll share, maybe I had one drink right as I was cooking, because I was grilling some meat, and it just felt so wrong to do it without a drink in the hand. So I had a White Claw, right? I didn't have a beer. I'm not perfect, but I had a little White Claw, and so you have those little negotiations with yourself when you're on the journey, like, hey, I'm not gonna go binge drink, but I'll have a little bit of this, and that'll take the edge off, right? And that'll be though your own personal thing you deal with as you go on your journey, right? But that was sort of my compromise, and that was enough to where I didn't need to binge that whole weekend or, go off of my plan. And after I did that, I was like, oh, I can do this, because that was the hardest. I thought that was gonna be the hardest one. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to do it, and I did it, man. So, just stuck with it, and now I feel great, y'all. Like I'm waking up early in the mornings. It's actually insane how much what you eat is fucking with you. My depression is completely gone. My anxiety comes and goes, but that's more because of just work and the pressure. It's not anxiety of, oh my God, am I going to look weird, or am I going to, these insecurities that just snowball into these crazy anxieties that you get. And it's just so stupid, and a lot of it comes from like I was mentioning, having a mismatch between how you see yourself in your mind and how you're physically treated by the world, and also just the food, right? Like the food is filling you with these gross, um, these feelings of just overconsumption. Like I want more sugar, I want more fat. This is so tasty, and um yeah, it just snowballs, and you don't even realize you're just reacting to your chemicals, your brain chemicals, right? When you're grabbing that Reese's peanut butter cup, or grabbing that other soda or that other beer, because your brain is just telling you to, and you're just a slave to like your desires, and that is sort of the cycle you start to break out of when you embark on this journey and you stay consistent. And it's like escaping the matrix, man. And I'm probably going to say that a lot on these videos, because that's really what it feels like. And you start to see the world like, wow, people are really just living life on autopilot. No one's really deciding for themselves like what they want to do or where they're going. So, or being very intentional. So yeah, it's been beautiful, man. I see myself doing this forever. Like I said, I started in February. Right now it's June of 2026. We're about to enter July. I think it's about to be my fifth month, and guys, I still have a long way to go. That's also something I want to share. I've only reached 15% body fat. Like just reached it. I'm hitting a plateau right now, so I just upped my cardio. And this will be another video, but dude, they are so right when they say everything changes at 15%. They are not kidding. The game just started, This is the real shit now. Because it's been hard, guys. It's been pretty hard, but that's a whole nother topic. But I feel great at 15%. I want to get down to 10 if possible. Not if possible, it will be possible. I'm going to do it. I just got to be consistent with everything. And yeah, I have a long way to go, right? I'm nowhere near my goal, and I think that's sort of the purpose of this video, right? Just start. We're all at our different points of our journey, but once you make that mentality shift and you're ready to go, we're all in it. We're all in the same space, man. And so, again, I hope this video and these videos on this channel are helpful to you all, to just stay consistent, remind you all that we're all in a different part of our journey, but we're all in this together. We can all keep going. You can always keep going. If you fuck up one day, that's fine. Get back on the next day. Don't get into the habit of, oh, I fucked up today, I'm gonna, screw it, I'll take another cheat day today. And don't let that snowball. Just hop back on, man. You miss a gym session, that's cool. Just go back next week, or the next day. But don't stop. You can get there. I remember being there in, earlier this year, just hating, oh man, I'm so uncomfortable when I go to the gym. But stick with it, man, and you can do it. So I hope this helps some folks, but also, welcome to this channel, to this community. Hopefully this can be positive for everyone, and we can create a cool just place to talk with each other, keep each other accountable, and keep working towards our goals, man. We're gonna do this, right? We're all gonna get shredded. So yeah, man, I'll see you guys at the next one, and thanks for listening.